Namaste. My name is Laura, and today I'm excited to guide you through some pratapana, some warming, lubricating stretches, movements for the hips, before relaxing into a couple of restorative postures for the Sacral Chakra, Svadhisthana, the area of the hips and the sacrum. So let's begin by making sure that we have the props that we'll need for our restorative practice. We use lots of cushions and blocks and things for restorative yoga. I have a couple of pillows, I have some bolsters and some blocks. If you're not equipped with lots of props like this, then you can make good use of regular cushions and pillows and things like that you might have on your bed or on your couch, and you can use those. Maybe some books for blocks. I have a yoga mat with a blanket on top for some extra padding for my hands and knees, and we're actually going to start in table pose, so on the hands and knees. And if your wrists need extra support, you might make fists with your hands. You can also tense your fingers. We have wrists underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips here. And let's begin by gently shifting the hips from side to side. So slight movements, one way and then the other. Just noticing how this feels for the hips and the low back. You may like to move into a little bit more of a half circle exploration. You might imagine you're tracing a smile with your bum from one side of your mat to the other. Perhaps flowing around in a few figure 8 movements. And you can close your eyes. And just let yourself really feel and explore your way through these stretches, being guided by sensation and the wisdom of your body. Maybe some circles happening now. And with these circles or figure 8 movements, let's flow in the opposite direction too. So this pratapana, a time of building, stoking the sacred inner fire, not only are we warming and lubricating the body, the joints, and the hips today, but we're also checking in. How are the hips feeling? How is my low back feeling? So that we can take good care of this space in our restorative postures. Good. Now let's bring the big toes to touch the knees out wide. Exhale, start to drop your hips towards your heels, a hip opening child's pose. Now you can let your forehead come down to the mat if it makes its way there. Maybe you stack your palms or your fists to support the head. But either way, we do check in that the neck is resting, the head is held by the ground or by the forearms, the fists, whatever is needed. A few deep breaths here. Let's take one more big breath in through the nose. Breathe out of the mouth. Stretching your arms forward if they're not already. We'll lift back into table pose. Realigning wrists under shoulders again. Knees under hips. And checking in that the core is engaged here. So you might imagine that you're sending your belly towards your low back. So this can keep the low back nice and long and smooth, supporting that space. rather than collapsing into the low back. And we'll stretch now the right leg back. Flex the foot. Now as you exhale, draw the right knee in toward the chest. You might even tuck your nose toward the knee. Inhale, reach the right heel back, crown of the head forward. Exhale, right knee draws out now toward the elbow. Take it out toward the side, just like a puppy at a fire hydrant here. Inhale, three-legged table, stretching back. Exhale, nose and knee, or knee toward chest, curling toward each other. Inhale, three-legged table. Exhale, fire hydrant pose. Let's do that once more. Navel drawing in toward the spine. Just a slight engagement of the core here. Let's pause in this fire hydrant pose, knee toward the elbow. Start to circle around here. Go the other way with these circles. Deep breaths. Inhale, reach the right heel back. Exhale, lower the knee underneath hip. You can find a pause here in table pose and just notice the difference from right to left side. If you wish to rest in child's pose again, you can do that. You might take a little break for the wrists before we find the flow on the opposite side. Returning to table pose just when you're ready, no hurry. Stretching back with the left leg here, flexing the foot, engaging core, crown of the head reaches forward. As you breathe out, left knee draws in toward the chest. You might also tuck your nose towards your knee. Inhale, lengthening, brightening through the body. Exhale, left knee out toward the side. Fire hydrant pose. Move with your breath. Remember, you might change the position of the hands to better support your wrists. Last time. And we'll meet in fire hydrant pose, starting to circle through left side leg, lubricating, rotating through left hip joint. Deep breaths. Go the other way with those circles. Inhale, left heel, left sole of foot presses back. Exhale, release into table pose. And as you land in table pose, you might again find some tail wagging movements, some swaying movements from side to side with your hips, or perhaps you circle around, draw figure eights, whatever you need here. Even some rounds of kneeling cat and cow stretches might feel really lovely. Rounding the back as you breathe out. Arching through the spine as you breathe in. Wonderful. And let's take time now to shift to seated. We'll find our way to a seat with the legs bent in front. You might First, shake it out through the legs. And then bending through the knees. You can root down through your hands or your fists behind your hips. Gently here we'll rock the knees from side to side. If you would like to, you can scooch your feet and your knees a little further apart and get going a little bit in a more exaggerated way. So even looking from side to side, your hand might leave the earth. You can turn your head to look behind you, even sweeping with the arm through space here. And let this movement just get a little smaller, slowly getting smaller and smaller until you come back to center. Beautiful. Now we're going to be reaching for our props. And you might use any collection of the props that you've found here for this posture. Any collection of the props you have available. For this pose, I'm just reaching for everything here. For this pose, we'll root through the sits bones, and you might even like to sit on the edge of a prop. We're coming into a hip opening, supported forward fold. So sitting on the edge of the prop can be lovely. In this pose, we're going to extend through the legs, and we take them out wide. Take the legs out wide for Upavista Konasana. You can have a bolster across. It's like we're making a prop tower. You might position another bolster here, and you can support your forehead. So this is one option. There are many options. You make your own prop tower. You can use your blocks, block or two. Maybe you position that underneath your bolster. This is like a leaning sort of bolster support. Perhaps you place your bolsters on top of each other. So you can turn them the other way. Something like that. Maybe even crisscrossing the arms and keeping the neck neutral. You can position your forehead down. As you're settling in with your position, with your supported forward fold, just know that you can also turn your head to one side. So you might prefer to have your head turning one way, and I'll give a cue when we've been here for half of the time and when it's time for us to turn our head in the opposite direction. Now we don't hold this position for as long as we would hold our other restorative postures, our forward fold. But we do take lots of time to settle in, make sure there's no efforting. You can make sure also that there's no dangling parts of the body. So I'm supporting my arms to check in that my shoulders are feeling comfortable. My arms are held, my hands as well. Take as many little wiggles and shifts as you need to. Breathing into sensation here. You may feel your breath deepening, lengthening. The rhythm slowing, steadying. One wave after the other. You might imagine waves in the water that maybe move from a place of of a rapid flow to a more slow, relaxed ebb and flow. Sensing the movement of the body with each breath. Svadhisthana chakra, the sacral or the second chakra, connects us with movement. You might consider how your hips are fluid joints that move the body forward, propel the body forward in space. And the second chakra invites us to explore this fluidity, the water element. Our ability to move through change. Sense the movement of your body with each wave of breath. Now, if your head is turned to one side, you can turn it the opposite way. And take your time. As you shift, know that there isn't any hurry or rush. You might feel yourself melting more deeply, more fully into the support of the props, into gravity, the body relaxing. Softening deeply, releasing tensions, releasing resistance. You might visualize the water element flowing through you. Our bodies are made up of roughly 70% water. You could imagine this water element cleansing all the areas of the body, evening out any areas of excess energy, and nourishing any areas of deficiency. Balancing your being. Svadhisthana teaches us about balance, duality. First there was one chakra, now there are two. Take a few more deep breaths here into the back body, into Svadhisthana, the area of the sacrum and of the hips. And let's all bring the head to a neutral position, the forehead down, and start to rock the head from side to side. So you can do this on your cushion or on your palms, stacking your palms, maybe your forearms. Just rocking the head gently, loosening up through the neck. And then when you're very ready, and you can keep your eyes closed, we rise to a seat. You might sense the light through your eyelids, integrating, sitting tall, a neutral spine. Perhaps rolling the shoulders here, or circling through the torso. which might mean adjusting your props, crossing your legs for a moment, moving slowly, gently. You could imagine you're stirring the pelvis, loosening up through the low back here with this movement. Let's enjoy one more restorative posture together. This is sometimes called the Queen's Throne. Quite luxurious. We'll use both of our blocks here, placing them on the mat in a capital letter T shape formation. So you might like to have a little bit of space between your blocks to increase the amount of support that you have beneath your bolster. Bolster rests on top, and now you have a hill here. And you can either use 2 pillows for this, or if you have another bolster, a rolled yoga mat, a rolled blanket, anything like that is wonderful. So I'm going to use my bolster for my legs, but again, you can use 2 pillows. I will have a pillow for the head. A pillow or a folded blanket is lovely for this. And then we come right up in front of the cushion. So you're sitting right in front, low back touching, but the bum is on the mat. You might have a blanket to tuck yourself in here, an eye pillow to cover the eyes, or like a scarf or something like that. And begin by taking your legs over your cushion. Good. So once you feel settled with your props, then you can lay back, making sure that your head and neck will be comfortable, that your upper back and your shoulders will be comfortable. So you might adjust to tuck the chin toward the throat a little here for the neck. You may take a pillow beneath one or both of your arms to support your shoulders. Tilt the pelvis so that the tailbone lengthens toward the end of your mat. So there's this smoothing out of the low back. Then drawing the soles of the feet together, the knees reach out toward the sides. So this is where the knees can be held by your bolster or cushions at the sides of your mat. Holding the knees or thighs as you place the legs in this diamond shape. Again, shifting, adjusting, exploring any micro movements that support you. And taking time to unwind here. Welcoming a very supported hip opening. And our restorative practice is so much less about the doing and the dynamic stretching, and rather about cradling the body, intelligently, lovingly cradling the body to invite the hips to rest and release into a place of openness at their own time. You might imagine water in its state of form, its solid state. Ice melting little by little, melting from a place of form into a state of flow and fluidity. Slow, deep breaths nourishing your being, just like water. Each breath nourishing and sustaining you, like a sip of water from the ocean of air all around you. Nothing to do but rest. Trusting that you know how to relax. Your being knows how to rest. You're not spending any energy here, and so it's devoted. Your prana, your vital life force is devoted to your rejuvenation. And simmering, swirling, pooling, nourishing your being wherever it is needed. Bringing you into balance. Balancing energies associated with Svadhisthana, the Sacral Chakra. Energies of the emotions, creativity, pleasure, passion, sexual energy. All of these live here in Svadhisthana. All of these relaxing into a more balanced state. And you are welcome to stay here for as long as you would like to. If or when you're ready to transition, we'll slowly draw the knees toward each other. You can use your hands to support this movement. And you might roll your bolster away if you have one beneath the legs. Legs bent here. And you can rock your knees from side to side. Maybe opening the feet. Know that there isn't any rush to counter stretch. You might prefer even to rest in stillness and to not counter stretch. Listen to your body, honoring your wisdom, your intuition, yourself as your very best guide. To shift to seated, if the time feels right for you to rise. We roll toward one side, catch ourselves with our arm there, And press up to seated very slowly. You might keep your eyes closed, just coming to a comfortable seat. Noticing how you feel. Welcoming in the benefit of your practice. Physically, emotionally, energetically. Let's gather the hands palm to palm at the heart center and thank ourselves. Take a moment to really thank yourself for resting, for claiming this time, for your self-care and connection, for taking this time to continue building a positive relationship with Sacral Chakra. I wish you peace, love, and light. And if you feel to open the eyes at this time, you can, or you might keep them closed for a bit longer. Thank you so much for joining me for this practice today. It's really such an honor to guide you here on my channel. I have other Svadhisthana chakra related restorative practices. I also have a whole series of root chakra practices. At this time, I'm journeying through the chakras, doing a month-long immersion into each chakra with restorative yoga. So just finishing with the root chakra Muladhara, now we're diving into Svadhisthana, the second chakra. And I have lots of other chakra-related practices on my channel too. So depending on when you're joining me, you might find the whole 7-month collection available. Or maybe you're moving along with me and closer to real time. Either way, I'm glad that you're here, and I'd love to hear from you in the comments below about what you really enjoyed about this practice, or maybe if you had a favorite yoga posture that we found together, any requests for videos, things like that. And if you love restorative yoga as much as I do, know that I am part of a restorative yoga teacher training called the Moon to Moon Yoga Teacher Training, the Moon to Moon Restorative Yoga Teacher Training with the School of Living Yoga. This is an online training, and it's a move at your own pace, go with your own flow and timing type of learning experience. So I will leave a link for you in the description of this video, and you can sign up anytime. Thank you so much. Again, much love.